Welcome to the organizational meeting for 2023. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Gilbert?
Here.
Mr. Teetsort?
Here.
Mr. Detzel?
Here.
Mr. Heater?
Here.
Mrs. Talby? Here.
And we need to make a motion and a second to adopt our agenda this evening.
So moved.
Second. Jim, do you vote?
Oh, yeah, I thought I did.
Sorry. Okay. That passes 5-0. Okay, that brings us to our first organizational item, and that is the nomination of the president for the 2023 year.
Mr. President Pro Tem, is that your title?
Yeah, but I can't pronounce it, so you did a pretty good job.
I would like to nominate Mrs. Nicole Tolby for president of the Northwest School Board.
Second. There's a motion and a second. Are there any other nominations? We ready to vote? And that passes 5-0. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I abstained.
4 to abstain. All right.
I state your name. I, Nicole Selby, do hereby affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, that I will perform faithfully the duties of President of the Board of Education of the Northwest Central School District, Hamilton County, Ohio, to the best of my ability, and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during my continuance in said office, and until my successor is elected and qualified.
Do we switch at the electronic school board now to her? Or do I continue?
You continue moderating, but Nicole will actually facilitate.
Okay. Yeah,
You're gonna read it, you're gonna move it on the.
It's like the guy behind the hand with the
I'm
hand.
the assistant. I'm the assistant. All right. President Talby?
All right. I'd like to call for nominations for the election of Vice President of the Northwest Board of Education for the year 2023.
I guess I'll do it again.
Go ahead.
By the way, congratulations, Ms.
Thank
Tolby.
you, guys.
I would like to nominate for Vice President of the Northwest School Board, Mr. Mark Gilbert.
Second.
All right, any other nominations? Okay, it passes 5-0. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mark.
I want to thank you
Yeah.
guys for letting me be president last year. It was an honor, and I take that very serious, so I appreciate your
You did a good
confidence in me.
job.
Yep.
Very good, John.
Very good.
Do you want my Bible?
Yeah, can your boy hold it for me?
Sure. Can you hold it for him, sir?
I state your name.
I, Mark Gilbert,
Do hereby affirm
do hereby affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
that I will perform faithfully
that I will perform faithfully
the duties as Vice President
the duties as Vice President
of the Board of Education
of the Board of Education
of the Northwest Local School District
of the Northwest Local School District
in Hamilton County, Ohio,
in Hamilton County, Ohio,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability,
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
in accordance to the laws now in effect
and hereafter enacted
and hereafter enacted
during my continuance in said office
during my continuance in said office
and until my successor
and until my successor
is elected and qualified.
is elected and qualified. Thank you.
Congratulations. All right. Next up, we will establish the time and place of the board meetings. So we have the calendar for 2023.
Motion approved.
So moved.
Second.
All right, that passes 5-0. Next up, we'll elect the Student Achievement Liaison.
I nominate Matt Teetsworth.
Second.
Any other nominations? All right, that passes 5-0. And next up, we will elect our Legislative Liaison.
I nominate Chris. Want to do that? Awesome.
I second. You're speaking about Chris Heather, correct?
Yes.
Chris, you do a good job with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you do a great job, Matt.
All right, that passes 4-0. All right, next up, a resolution to appoint a member to the Butler Tech Board. Need any nominations for
I
that?
nominate Mr. Jim Detzel.
Second.
All right, that passes 4-0. All right, next up, the board would like to recognize the board attorneys. And do I go forward and just read through? Okay. Dinsmore, Finney Law, Board of Revisions, and Ennis and Britton. And I would recommend to recognize the board attorneys as listed.
So moved.
Second. Darrell, I have a question about that. Do we ever, do other organizations or other attorney groups come to us and petition for a bid at that? Or like, how does that work? It just I know it keeps rolling over unless we make an effort to do so differently?
It typically continues unless we are having issues with one of the attorneys and we would come to you and say that we would like to change because of whatever reason. But typically, we would maintain the ones as long as we are continuing to have a good relationship and getting good service.
Gotcha, okay.
I'd just like to bring up one thing too. When the prior board, we're going back 8, 9, 10 years ago, brought on the Finney Law Firm, you would have thought the sky was falling. We had a lot of opposition, and I see, at least for part of it, 10 years later, they're still with us. So I just looking back, that wasn't a bad move. They've done a very good job with the Board of Revision part.
All right, that passes 5-0. Next up, we'd like to recognize the approval of the OSBA membership dues. I recommend the approval of the membership dues for OSBA as listed.
So moved.
Second.
I got is that for the Ohio, it's not for the national, not the NSBA, we don't belong to that anymore? Okay.
All right, that passes 5-0. Next up is the OSBA Legal Assistance Fund membership resolution. The Northwest Local Board of Education wishes to support the efforts of other boards of education to obtain favorable judicial decisions, whereas the Ohio School Board Association Legal Assistance Fund has been established for this purpose. Therefore, the board hereby resolves to participate in the OSBA LAF for calendar year 23 and authorizes the treasurer to pay the LAF $250. I recommend the Board of Education approve the membership of the OSBA Legal Assistance Fund as listed.
So moved.
Second.
All right, that passes 5-0. Next up, per the or establishing the board service fund, the Board of Education may a resolution set aside each year from the general fund a sum not to exceed $2 for each child enrolled in the district, or $20,000, whichever is greater. I recommend the Board of Education approve the board service fund as listed.
So moved. Second. Sorry.
All right.
That was cute. Oh, that was darling, Jim.
All right, that
It's docking
passes
me.
5-0. Next up is the authorization of official signatures. The Board of Education authorizes the president and the treasurer to be the official signers for payments of funds for the Board of Education, and further authorize that one of the 3 signed checks on all Board of Education accounts and that the president's signature and treasurer's signature may be a facsimile. I recommend the Board of Education approve the authorization of official signatures as listed.
So moved.
Second.
All right, that passes 5-0. Next is authorization for the treasurer to pay bills. The Board of Education authorizes the treasurer to pay bills as they are presented within the availability of funds, report all bills paid monthly to the Board of Education, and to include bills not paid due to unavailability of funds. I recommend the Board of Education authorize the treasurer to pay bills as listed.
So moved.
Second.
That passes 5-0. Thanks, Amy.
Yeah, thanks for
Paying the
paying
bills. Next up is the investment of inactive and interim funds in commercial paper. The Board of Education authorizes the treasurer to invest inactive and interim funds at the most productive interest rate and according to board policy whenever inactive and interim funds are available. The Board of Education authorizes the treasurer to invest up to a maximum of 40% of the district's interim funds in either of the following: commercial paper notes issued by a for-profit corporation, business trust or association, real estate investment trust, common law trust, unincorporated trust or business, or general or limited partnership which has assets exceeding $500 million. I recommend the Board of Education authorize the treasurer to invest in active and interim funds and commercial paper as listed.
So moved.
Second.
All right, that passes 5-0. Next up, the designee for public records training. A member of the Board of Education or designee may receive 3 hours of public records training for each term in office. The Board of Education designates Elizabeth Witt for training on behalf of the Northwest Local School Board of Education for the current term of office. As a prerogative of the Board of Education, we designate Elizabeth Witt for public records training for the current term of office on behalf of the Northwest Local School Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
All right, that passes 5-0.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. All right, next up is the Tax Incentive Review Council designee for Hamilton County, Green Township, and Corrine Township. The Board of Education must designate a representative to serve on the Tax Incentive Review Councils for Hamilton County, Green Township, and Corrine Township. The Board of Education designates Amy Wells and/or Elizabeth Witt. The President recommends that the prerogative of the Board of Education to designate Amy Wells and/or Elizabeth Witt for the Tax Incentive Review Council for Hamilton County, Green Township, and Corrine Township on behalf of the Northwest Local School Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
That passes 5-0. Next up, we will approve the student activity accounts. Board of Education authorizes the student activity accounts to be active for fiscal years 2023 and 2024. I recommend the Board of Education approve the student activity accounts as listed.
So moved.
Second.
All right, that passes 5-0. Next up, approving the fiscal officer for the activity accounts. The Board of Education approves the superintendent to be the sign-off officer of all student activity programs, and he shall present these programs to the Board of Education once each year. He will also have the authority to approve and/or modify the student activity budgets throughout the year. I recommend the Board of Education approve the superintendent as the fiscal officer for student activity accounts as listed.
So moved.
Second.
All right, that passes 5-0. Next, we'll approve board member benefits. Per House Bill 369 dated October 17th, 1985, and Resolution 4085 dated December 9th, 1985, the current board members may exercise their option to participate in the district's employee benefits plan at the board member's expense. Rates are per month and may change per plan year. Health insurance is currently January to December, dental's January to December, and the life insurance rate is based on a term rate of $29,000 benefit. I recommend the Board of Education approve the board member benefits as listed.
So moved.
Second.
All right, that passes 5-0. Records retention. Records are presented for recognition and will be submitted for approval to destroy through the Historical Society. Recommend the Board of Education recognize the attached records as listed.
So moved.
Second.
All right, that passes 5-0. A resolution of blanket certification. The treasurer may issue blanket purchase orders, certificates for a sum not exceeding $25,000 established by this resolution of the board against any specific line item account over a period of time, not to extend beyond the end of the fiscal year in which it is issued. Only one blanket purchase order or certificate may be outstanding at any one particular time for any one particular line item appropriation.
So moved.
Second.
Oh. I recommend the Board of Education approve the resolution of blanket certificate as listed.
So moved.
Amy, for the record, do you need to make that
It's
statement?
okay, we got it. We know blankets cannot exceed 25,000 this year, so.
I'm sorry, who made a motion in a second?
Chris and Jim.
Bless you. All right, that passes 5-0. Next up, the annual fund-to-fund transfer. Our annual fund-to-fund transfer from general fund to the athletic fund for transportation. Do I read each line item?
That one's for Amy. These
Okay,
are
I'm
for
sorry.
Amy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So annually, we do a $60,000 transfer to our secondary schools to help offset the cost of transportation. $28,500 to each high school and $1,000 to each middle school. I ask the treasurer to recommend the Board of Education approve the fund-to-fund transfer as listed.
So moved.
Second.
All right, that passes 5-0.
Next, we have the acceptance of the rebate reward programs for fiscal year '22. Our purchasing card rebate was $16,896. Our FISC integrated payables rebate is where we use a third party to help us prevent fraud with our payment of checks and vendors, was $16,689. We have our Southwestern EPC rebate, which is our unified purchasing, so a purchasing co-op that we utilize to save money on the cost of the items that we purchase, plus we get a rebate back of $20,641. And our Kroger Rewards program, we utilize that when we're purchasing the items, but we don't actually utilize the points. We just get the rebates or reduction in costs when we utilize purchasing items from Kroger. So with that, I ask the Board of Education to accept the rebates and rewards for fiscal year 22 as listed.
So moved.
Second.
This is 5-0.
And for the purchasing agent, we designate the Director of Business Services as my designee for purchasing agent as a school district. So I recommend the Board of Education approve the appointment of the purchasing agent as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Passes 5-0.
And then annually, we recognize our booster and support organizations. There's an attachment listing all of those, and the superintendent recommends the Board of Education recognize the booster support organizations as listed.
So moved.
Second.
That passes 5-0. All right, and that is it for this meeting. So, need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Passes 5-0. Thank you.
Mrs. Talby?
Here.
Mr. Gilbert?
Here.
Mr. Detzel?
Here.
Mr. Heather?
Here.
Mr. Teetsworth?
Here.
All right, we need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right, that passes 5-0.
So as a presentation of our fiscal year 24 tax budget, the tax budget is a modified tax budget as approved in December by the board to, I think we did that in November actually, to file with the Hamilton County Budget Commission to allow us to file a modified tax budget, since we're on a fiscal year and not a calendar year as every other governmental entity. And the tax budget includes any fund which we collect taxes for, which is our general fund, our bond retirement funds, and our capital or permanent improvement funds. Our general fund just mirrors our 5-year forecast. So what is filed for our modified tax budget is our 5-year forecast, or at $98 million. Then our bond retirement fund is our principal and interest, plus the auditor and treasurer fees that are required to be collected during fiscal year 24. And that is 3.7 million. And then finally, the permanent improvement is 2.9. We collect 2 mills that was moved inside millage to PI, and that money is spent on our House Bill 264 and our blended lab debt payments, as well as our bus replacement schedule, our technology replacement schedule, and our capital maintenance fund.
Thank you.
And this is a hearing, so if the public were to want to have input, the budget has been out for public. We posted in the newspaper and out for the public to view. They could come tonight to have comment. with the resolution to approve the fiscal year 24 tax budget. Again, the tax budget is for fiscal year 24. It is a modified tax budget and includes the general fund at 98 million, the bond retirement fund at 3.7 million, and the permanent improvement fund at 2.9 million. With this, I ask the Board of Education to approve the resolution of the tax budget as listed.
So moved.
Second?
That passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, and need a motion and a second to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, 5-0. Thank you. First school board meeting of 2023. Welcome, everyone. Ready to get started? All right. First, I invite everyone to stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Amy, could you take roll, please?
Mrs. Talby?
Here.
Mr. Gilbert?
Here?
Mr. Detzel?
Here.
Mr. Heather?
Here?
Mr. Teetsworth?
Here.
All right. I would like to start each meeting reading our mission statement for our district. Northwest Local School District will create a responsive learning community where all students are valued, challenged, and guided along a pathway to success. And I'd like to, we need a motion to adopt the agenda for tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
That passes 5-0.
So tonight, we have special recognition for actually the school board. January is designated by the Ohio School Board Association as School Board Recognition Month. So I'm going to introduce Emily Doblinger, our Assistant Director of Curriculum, who's going to walk through the different ways that we have organized tonight to recognize the 5 of you for what you do for the district.
Good evening. I would first like to thank you all for your service to our school district, and thank you for all you do for our staff and our kids. As a part of our celebration, Melody Smith, the CMS choir director, will introduce the following students who will perform selections from the mini musical Snow Biz by John Jacobson and Mac Huff.
So our backs are not to anybody. We're gonna do it this way. So sopranos, we're gonna have you come over here. Altos are right here, and just kind of turn this way. Right, Mona?
Do you want me to go in the center after my thing?
Yes. Altos, sopranos over here. Kind of scoop up this way so your backs aren't to anybody. Yes, as was stated, this is a select member of our 7th grade choir doing some selections from our musical in December. Hello. Stand up. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Rain or sleet or dark of night, we're going left on this to right. With the freezing winter fog, help me up, tie up your dog. Give it a stamp, give it a tag, and stick it in my mailbag. March on delivering the mail. Yes, we'll march on delivering the mail. We cannot let you down, we are ready to go. Marching, always marching, though the winds are way, way low. Yes, we'll march on delivering the mail. Yes, we'll march on delivering the mail. We really ought to have the animals to go. We'll march through the rain and sleet and snow. We'll march on delivering the mail. The mail. I've fallen and I can't get up.
And thank you to the board for all you do for our district. We really
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you. My dad was a mailman for 40 years. He would have loved that story. And thank you, Mrs. Smith. I've seen you get the whole crowd going at the dodgeball tournament, and I know how hard you work with the students. So, and thank you guys. That was awesome. Jeremiah, you've been keeping this a secret from me all this time. You guys are talented. I had no idea. Great job.
I would like to recognize Cody Winters, Bella Lucas, and Jeremiah Smith for their solos. Thank you all very much. As a part of the recognition, we have selected artwork for framing and sharing with board members. This artwork was created by White Oak Middle School 6th graders. Kaylee Ann Bayer, Mahanta Rai, Sophie Richardson, and Piper Mayers, and Pleasant Run Middle School 7th grader Harlow Bladrick. We received upward of 30 submissions of artwork expressing gratitude. The remaining artwork will be gifted and dedicated to district volunteers and partners later this school year. The remaining artwork is now hanging in the boardroom as well. Also, as a part of the Board of Education Recognition Month, the district is donating a book for each school's library in our board members' names. The books are, for preschool, How to Apologize; for our elementary school libraries, The Very Hungry Caterpillar; for our middle schools, The Book Thief; and for our high schools, Legacy, Women Poets of the Harlem Renaissance. Additional gifts include certificates of recognition from the Ohio School Board Association, and a thank you card and a couple of other tokens of appreciation from our central office team. Thank you again for all you do.
And so we thank the parents for making sure the students are here tonight, for Ms. Smith for arranging this, and it's really important that we continue to keep students at the forefront of what we do, because whether it's serving in the capacity of a board member, as an administrator, a teacher, or any other role in the district, everything that we do is in service of and in work toward betterment for students. So it's nice to have you here because you're the reason that we exist and the reason we're here. And to see the kind of talent that was brought here tonight, we really appreciate that. So we thank the parents, we thank Ms. Smith, and we thank all of you for what you do to make this possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Great job again.
Thanks.
Yep.
I
Excellent.
enjoyed
Very
it.
good.
Thanks.
And then at this point, if the families would like to, this is a great opportunity to kind of segue. But if, Mr. Moore, if you don't mind, if you could gather them on their way out and get a picture for us, that would be great. I appreciate it.
I will say, just for the TV, right? Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. You're welcome anytime.
Sorry.
Yeah, we gotta talk to Aaron before we vote on something.
Okay. Is she here?
Probably in Daryl's office.
Oh.
At this time, the board will approve a motion to move into executive session to conference with an attorney concerning disputes that are subject of pending or imminent court action.
So the superintendent recommends that the Board of Education approve the motion to move into executive session as listed.
So moved.
Second.
And we will return in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we have a report from the Student Achievement Liaison.
Okay.
No time to prepare.
Got a few minutes.
He's already got a, good for you, man.
Right?
Jeez.
So,
Not missing a beat.
Dude, it's quick.
all right, for student board recognitions for tonight's meeting. From Colerain Middle School, this quarter's Cardinal Cafe includes hot chocolate and cookies with light music and time to relax with friends. Students have earned this perk by displaying positive behaviors. Following students: Abigail Mitchell, Alejandre Cruz, Alethea Claude, Avery Prater, Brenia Englund, Braxton Alexander, Caleb Craig, Chase Sigafus, Chase Resney Tillman, Evan Young, Katie Gill, Christopher Ziegert, Landon Pfizer, Lucas Johnson, Liddy Waite, Rashad Robinson, Tamela Ledford, Weston Lies, Bailey Sparks, Chloe Burkhardt, Alexa Hartwig, Braden Spalding, Bryson Wurzelbacher, Cole Kostoff, Darius Price, Isabella Hydorn, Jabrielle Shante, Kelly Vickers, Kendall Smith, Langdon Udry, Marquise Bridges, and Trinity Ike. At White Oak Middle School, Students of the Month for December. In the 6th grade, we have Kaylee Hadley, Cole Gregory, Jamatli Setley, Ceci Engel, and Dashiell Seuss. In the 7th grade, Randy Souders, Ellie Neidlinger, Blaine Schurz, Malia Nichols, David Andemichael, Kenzie Craig. In the 8th grade, Destiny Smith, Sean Hubbard, Alexis Renner, Arzan Hodar. At Colerain Elementary, they held their spelling bee on January 6th in the auditorium. Congratulations to all 15 of the participants who made the final round after winning their individual classroom spelling bee. We are happy to announce our winner, Sophia Greer, and our runner-up, Isabel Duber. Also at Colerain Elementary, the December Cardinal of the Month for each grade level. Kindergarten, Pravanshi Rai. 1st grade, Ruby Otten. 2nd grade, Madeline Bird. 3rd grade, Eleanor Otten. 4th grade, London Hutchison. 5th grade, Jordan Beach. Northwest High School, Students of the Month, Mitchell Graves and Becky Herrera. Congratulations to the Northwest Boys Bowling Team for winning the ECC SWAC Tournament. T.J. Johnson Jr., Edward Walker Jr., Broderick Brown, Elias Anderson, and Nathan Gross. 2 players came in 1st and 2nd place of the highest scores of the tournament. That's Broderick Brown in 1st place with a 7:10, T.J. Johnson Jr. in 2nd place with a 7:08. Houston Early Learning Center is excited that we have encouraged parent volunteers back in our building this school year. Mrs. Lydia Bibb, one of our preschool teachers, made it one of her professional growth plan goals that by the end of this school year that every one of her families will attend at least one school function outside of parent-teacher conferences. As you can see, parent participation is very important to Mrs. Bibb and the culture of her classroom. She is tracking how many parents have attended an event at Houston Early Learning Center. Halfway through the school year, 80% of parents have attended an in-person event. Many parents do work during school hours and find it hard to attend after-school events. Therefore, quite a few families, 64%, have donated resources for crafts and special snacks she has had throughout the school year. When adding the totals for in-person events and volunteered resources, it's 92% of her parents. That's 23 out of 25 families. At Struble Elementary, each day student elementary students earn points as they take care of themselves, each other, and the school. When students returned to the building last week, we spent time reviewing, practicing, and modeling classroom and school-wide expectations. Collectively, students earned 8,786 PBIS points in just 3 days for following the Blue Jay Way. Thanks to the continued education and recycling efforts at Struble Elementary, our green team was excited to fill almost the entire dumpster last Friday during the end-of-week collection. At Montfort Heights Elementary, had a light-up MHE event on December 8th, where the students had an evening of learning about holiday celebrations around the world. Montfort Heights Elementary held Carol Fest on December 15th at Colerain High School. We had 2 sessions with large crowds at both. Each grade level sang 3 songs and had a great night of holiday singing. Montfort Heights Elementary is hosting our spelling bee on Tuesday, January 10th. We have 20 4th and 5th graders competing in the event. Taylor Elementary, the PBIS Positive Behavior Weekly winners: Danquan Davidson, 5th, Respectful and Kindness; Ramaya Phillips, 1st, Kindness and Positive Attitude; Audrey Badgley, 4th, Positive Attitude; Axel Berger, 3rd, Each Day with a Positive Attitude; Troy Brown, 2nd, Exceptional Leader. Also at Taylor Elementary, we had an amazing 1st grade winter concert with a family night attached on December 13th. This evening was fantastic with a huge crowd and wonderful holiday caroling. Thank you to our Taylor families who showed up for a wonderful evening. And last but not least, on a personal note, Colerain High School Butler Tech student Danny Teetsort, my son, in Aviation Exploration Program at D. Russell Lee and the Middletown Airport back in December, was one of 6 seniors in the program to pass his written pilot's exam.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job.
And that's all I have.
Hey, Matt, what's he have to do now to get that pilot's license to actually start flying the plane? How long does that take?
He's looking towards early spring to start going through in-person training through Lunkin, I believe.
Okay.
And
And how
yeah.
long does that normally take? Do you have any idea?
I'm not sure. It's a lot of hours. I know that much.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
tell you that
Right.
as a private pilot.
Mhm.
Typically, for fixed-wing aircraft, it's about 45 to 55 hours.
Mhm.
The first is usually pretty much with your instructor, and then you get signed off to go out and practice on your own. So you can make it as, I've known guys to do it in 6 weeks because they do 4 hours a day. And then guys take 6 years because they do an hour a month. So it's whatever speed you want to do it at.
Okay.
But they go by hours, and pretty much that you got to sign off that you can fly in this weather, and you got to do some instrument training. It's involved.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah, and they're gonna be building another hangar up there.
At the Middletown Airport.
At the Middletown Airport,
Mhm.
because Butler Tech got $15 million from the county commissioners to do that, and then one down by Miami Hamilton campus, putting a manufacturing plant down there. School, not a plant, but a school down there, so, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Matt. Next up, our legislative update.
Okay, Nicole, I have just one thing, and it's fairly important. In that lame duck session, we talked about how they did everything like in 3 days. They passed, the 5,000 bills. One of them they passed was election reform. And as of now, and the governor did sign it, so it's going to be law in 90 days, there will be no more August special elections, except under one condition, if there's a fiscal emergency. If a district or city or whomever township declares a fiscal emergency, they can run it. But a routine special election, the only time you can now run it will be, they didn't say anything about February. We used to have those, but now it'll just be November in the primary. And that is it.
Thanks, Chris. Butler Tech update?
We're gonna have our organizational meeting next Tuesday. And then I just wanted to talk with the 4 board members here, the other 4 board members, about us having a board meeting up there at Butler Tech at the Natural Science Center, since that's a new building that just opened in October. If we can check our calendars and kind of pick a date and see when we want to go up there, and then they said that they would, come a half hour early or whatever and get a tour of the place. So if we want to do that, just
Sure.
need to, just let me know, and then I'll make sure I get
Okay.
it set up, and we'll just
Sounds
pick a date and let me know. Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, do we have any reports from employee organizations?
None tonight.
All right, no community comments?
So tonight for the consent items, we have our normal personnel, business, and curriculum, so I'll let Susan start.
So under the personnel arena, we are seeking approval for the following: 4 resignations, 2 initial appointments, various supplemental items, a revised job description, and resolutions of job abandonment, as well as an acceptance of a release and separation agreement.
We have 3 donations. We have Side by Side donation of books, Robin Reichel donation of books, and Turnkey Technology donation of gift cards for the handheld health fair. We also have 4 vendor contracts. We have a special education services, behavioral health support, and 2 musical contracts.
From the curriculum department, we're requesting your approval of the high school program of study for the 23-24 school year, which was provided to you at the last meeting for information. We're now asking for your approval so we can start the scheduling process.
So the superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the adoption of the consent items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? That passes 5-0. Thank you.
For the fiscal consent items, I'd like to ask the board to dispense with reading of and approve the regular meeting minutes from December 12th board meeting, as listed.
So we have a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? So it passes 5-0.
And then last meeting, the board did some discussion around the Bluest Eye. We just need to revisit that so that we can be clear on the exact reason for the specific content for the Bluest Eye that the board is seeking, the action that would remove it from circulation and be behind the circulation desk for parent permission only. So I need some clarification so we can move forward to vote.
My opposition is, it has graphic pedophilia and inappropriate sexual relationship with minors.
And I would agree. It depicts child sexual abuse and just sexually explicit material inappropriate for minors.
I agree with what Nicole and Mark just stated.
I agree
Okay.
too. I think that we were kind of, at the last meeting, that was presented without any thought to give us reason. I just threw some things out, so. But yeah, the pedophilia part and certainly, I just don't think it's something that 14-year-olds should be reading.
Okay.
With that clarity, we can move into the vote, which would be that you're voting on the resolution that would remove the book from general circulation due to, I want to make sure I get this right, the graphic sexual content, sexual abuse of a child, and pedophilia, that is the rationale for removing this from general circulation and restricted circulation with parent permission only. So with that, the superintendent would recommend that you move forward the resolution as listed.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
So moved.
Oops. And a second?
Second.
Motion second. Is there any further discussion?
Just wanted to add my comments that my vote is in support of our own committee through Northwest Local School District that reviewed the book, and after reading the book myself, that I concur with their recommendation to keep the book on the shelf.
Thank you.
Jim?
I can't get this to pull up. There we go, sorry.
All right, passes 4-1.
Next, we have a resolution to proceed with our bond issue. At the last board meeting, the board approved a resolution of necessity, which was then certified by the county auditor's office at 4.98 mils. Our project has been reduced from 175 million down to 168 million. And with that, I'd like to ask the board to, Superintendent and I would like to recommend the Board of Education approve the resolution to proceed with the bond issue for the May ballot as listed.
So moved.
Second?
And that, the years on that will stay the same, but the value is lower because we're taking Houston out. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And how soon would we start getting information out to the community?
Once you guys vote on this, we'll start working on a communication plan.
Okay, thank you.
What's the election date? Or
May 2nd? May 2nd.
May?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, my only issue with it is, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result, we've all heard that line about insanity. My thing is the unfairness of some kids having to go to a 100-year-old school versus others going to brand-new schools. I just wish there was some way we could do something different, a little bit lower, do something so it's different, and this essentially is going to be the same thing, even though we're getting less money because of the higher interest rates. It's still 4.98 mils over 20 years. Or is it 18 in here, 20?
38.
30, well, at least, okay, 38 years. It's like a car loan at 84 months. And that's a long, long levy. Mumford Heights was 18 years or 20?
20.
Okay. But it is what it is, and hopefully the economy will be doing better, and people will come to the realization that this is a fair thing to do. So, hopefully.
Today, before this meeting, I was at the Corey Middle School for a basketball game, and sitting with the Princeton parents who were like, this must be their old gym. They must have put this game in their old gym. I'm like, this is our only gym.
Yeah.
So, and then, we have the boilers and things don't start up or they break, and it's so much more expensive to fix that old stuff.
Yeah, it could be used as a movie set. Like Hoosiers 2.
I'm sure my kids would gladly give it up for a movie.
Hoosiers 2.
Yeah.
Buckeyes, just one.
Chris, I think? you
Yeah,
have a
just
vote?
you, Chris.
We go.
All right, passes 5-0.
All right, so just a couple of things to update, and Chris, coming off that conversation, just reminding people that we have a redistricting process that's happening right now. And part of our redistricting is looking at our building capacities. And when we shared the information with the public prior to break, we have 3 middle schools that are all over 100% capacity. So it's not just about maintaining what we have, but it's about the fact that we don't have capacity for what we have. So we do have to address our issues both with facilities and enrollment. And so we did, as a district, we chose to put 2 options out there. 2 options were presented to us from the consultant, and in the we did questions about why 2 were out there. There were some obvious things that people were not happy with option 2, but we felt in the effort of being transparent that we'd rather put both out there so people understand everything that we've looked at and that we weren't hiding anything or making a decision for the community before we asked for input. So just to be clear that we did put both options out there in an effort to be transparent. We do appreciate the people who did give feedback. There wasn't a lot of feedback, but we will take everything that we have, and our team will continue to look at that. Obviously, transportation is a major factor into making sure that we not only maximize the use of our building and make sure that our buildings are balanced, but that we do it from a data perspective and an efficiency perspective. So more to come on that, but I did want to clarify why both options were put out there for the community. Did want to follow up. Sometimes this will sound as like old news, even though it was just announced at noon today, but we did announce Carl Huber as the Corning High School football coach. So we are excited for that transition. We're excited for what Carl will bring to the program and his vision for where it can go. We do want to give a special shout out and thanks to our maintenance and custodial staff. Over the break, while some people were enjoying a little bit of time off, we did have some facility needs that occurred. We had, with the extreme weather we had, with the sub-zero temperatures, we did have some pipes burst, we had some flooding, and so we did have our maintenance and custodial staff along with some restoration companies on site trying to mitigate all of that. All of that was able to happen in a way that our kids never missed a beat. They were able to come back and start school with everyone else, and so we do appreciate all of the work that our maintenance and custodial staff did to make sure that the buildings were ready for our staff and our students. And then just again to reiterate, whether it's January or December, the appreciation for what the board does to set vision, to review policy, and to make sure that we are efficient in moving forward our operations. And so the partnership that we have is valuable and invaluable to me, and I appreciate everything that you guys do. People don't know, they see you here once, twice a month for a board meeting, but the amount of conversations you have outside of this and your time and commitment to that is admirable. So thank you.
Thank you.
Will there be a formal presentation about the redistricting?
Yeah, once we get a final plan, we'll do a final presentation publicly so that everybody knows the final, the way it shakes out. And that'll be coming, we're planning in February so that we can be in front of it, plus transportation needs to start running routes and doing all that. So it'll be coming in February.
So is there another meeting where Cropper will present anything, or is it more now it will be presented by you guys?
We'll probably have them with us when we present, but we'll
Okay.
bring it to a board meeting so
Okay.
that it is public, it's filmed, and people can see it.
Okay.
And again, our website will be updated, the redistricting website, once a final map is finalized, so
Okay.
that people can still see the changes that will impact them, not just the proposed changes, but the actual ones.
Okay.
I'm very impressed with the company. I feel like they're very, very, very professional. I think we learned a lot when we did it. I guess that happened right as I was coming onto the board. The frustrating piece for me is we've turned this into an opportunity for our community to voice their opinion, and there were
Little over 50.
little over 50 responses.
53.
That's very discouraging. I mean, it's as much as we field with complaints and we're this and we're that and we're this, and we give a platform and an opportunity for a voice. I'm very disappointed in our community. Very disappointed.
we will continue to engage. We will continue to find ways to engage. Like, as Chris mentioned, how are we going to communicate about the bond issue? We will continue to do everything that we can to push out information, to receive information in a two-way communication style, and be willing to listen. But again, we appreciate the 53 people who did take the time to do it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Board member comments? Chris?
Just appreciate the entertainment tonight that the Colerain Middle School kids did. I was having been a choir singer because my dad was the choir director, and I had no choice in the matter for many, many years. Always appreciated, especially when I'm listening in. That's it.
Yeah, I'd like to second that too. The kids were great, and the show cards, they might have a few kids in there that, to join the show cards once they get up to the high school. And I just wanted to thank the board members for voting me back into Butler Tech as a board representative, so I appreciate that. And then I'll just get this information out, like you said, on the board, the levy, and see if we can get this thing passed, because our kids deserve to get these new schools and not be in the dilapidated buildings that they're in now. So, yeah, other than that, that's it.
Matt?
Yeah, just also ditto on my appreciation for Mrs. Smith and the Colerain Middle School students that came and did an awesome presentation with their song and dance tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, same. I thought that was awesome. You know, we do all this for that exact thing. I want to thank you guys for acknowledging us this month. I think I can speak on behalf of everybody, even though I'm not the president anymore, that it is a labor of love for sure, and we do enjoy supporting our kids and our community families at whatever work level that is. So I'm very appreciative, and thank you guys again for the opportunity to be the president and lead last year. I genuinely appreciate it. And I really liked the Houston Early Learning piece to this, where we've got like a very intentional effort by Mrs. Bibb to engage her classroom, and I think it was 92%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a partnership, and this is refreshing to hear. It would be interesting to track these kids to see what difference they have as they progress in their educational career in our school district. But kudos to Mrs. Bibb and Gina Sansoni, because I'm sure somewhere her fingerprints are on that too. And I appreciate you guys supporting her for that, and I think that's something that may need to be contagious in our district. That's all.
First, like to thank you guys for the opportunity to be the president this year. I'm looking forward to it. Also, thank you, Emily, and everyone for recognizing the board. The Colerain Middle School singers and Mrs. Smith, I've seen her with at the school, and just she can get the whole gym of students up dancing or singing, and does an amazing job with them. So. Also, Colerain High School's choir had 3 students represent them on Saturday up in Columbus, and they're working with Xavier to learn some of Broadway shows, and that's Riley Ho, Brennan Green, and Lydia Manus. So I just wanted to wish them good luck, and congratulations to Spelling Bee winners and our Northwest bowling team on their awesome wins there. And then also just recognize Side by Side, because every month I see them out every weekend doing something with our community and district, so just wanted to recognize them also. So, thank you.
With that, we look at a motion to go into executive session to discuss the evaluation of the superintendent. So I recommend that the Board of Education approve the motion to move into executive session as listed.
So moved.
Second.
So Passes 5-0. So we will come back to adjourn, but no further discussion or agenda items will take